Most of us treat the past like something permanently fixed, a locked door, something that happened, that's over, that can't be touched or changed. We move forward carrying it with us, sometimes as motivation, more often as weight. But Neville Goddard taught something that directly challenges this entire assumption, that the past isn't actually as fixed as it feels, and more importantly, that revising it deliberately in your imagination can change the trajectory of your future in ways most people never even consider possible. He called this the law of reversibility. And once you understand how it works, you'll never look at a difficult memory the same way again. Let's start with the basic premise, because it sounds almost impossible at first. How can you change something that already happened? The event occurred, the words were said, the outcome unfolded exactly as it did, and no amount of wishing changes the historical fact of it. Neville wasn't disputing this in a literal, physical sense. What he was pointing to was something deeper, that the emotional and psychological impact of a past event isn't actually fixed by the event itself. It's fixed by how you continue to hold that event in your consciousness, how you replay it, interpret it, and carry it forward into your present and future state. Here's where this becomes genuinely useful, rather than just philosophical. Every time you replay a painful memory in your mind, exactly as it originally happened, feeling the same hurt, the same anger, the same disappointment, you're not simply remembering a neutral fact from your past, you're actively reinforcing that emotional charge, keeping it alive and current within your subconscious mind. The memory doesn't just sit quietly in storage, untouched. It continues to be fed by your ongoing attention, your ongoing emotional engagement with it, every single time you revisit it in the same way. Neville's law of reversibility offers a specific, deliberate practice to interrupt this pattern, called revision. The idea is straightforward in concept, though it requires real practice to do effectively. At the end of each day, or whenever a difficult memory resurfaces, instead of simply replaying what actually happened, you deliberately, imaginatively replay the event differently, as you wish it had gone, with as much sensory detail and emotional conviction as you can bring to the revised version. You're not denying that the original event occurred. You're changing your ongoing relationship to it, effectively updating the emotional charge and meaning it carries within your consciousness. Let's make this concrete with an example. Imagine you had a tense, unpleasant conversation with someone, maybe a coworker or family member, and it left you feeling disrespected, unheard, hurt. If you replay that conversation exactly as it happened, over and over throughout the evening, you continue to reinforce those exact same feelings: disrespect, being unheard, hurt, keeping them alive and current in your consciousness. Using the law of reversibility, instead, you would sit quietly, close your eyes, and imaginatively replay the same conversation, but this time with a different outcome. One where you spoke clearly and confidently, where the other person listened and responded with respect, where the entire interaction resolved in a way that left you feeling calm and respected rather than hurt and dismissed. This might initially sound like simple denial, refusing to accept what actually happened. But that's not quite what's occurring here. You're not trying to convince yourself the original conversation didn't happen. You're deliberately choosing which version of that experience continues to shape your ongoing emotional state and subconscious assumptions moving forward. The historical fact remains unchanged, but the emotional imprint you carry forward from that fact is something you actually have significant influence over. And Neville insisted that this emotional imprint, not the literal historical fact itself, is what actually shapes your ongoing reality far more than we typically realize. Let's go deeper into why this practice can genuinely influence your future, not just your emotional state in the present moment. Neville taught that your subconscious mind doesn't clearly distinguish between an event that literally happened and a vividly imagined, emotionally convincing revision of that event, especially when the revision is practiced with genuine sensory detail and repeated consistency. This means that consistently revising difficult memories doesn't just help you feel better about the past in some vague, therapeutic sense. It actually changes the underlying assumptions your subconscious carries forward about similar future situations, about how people treat you, about how conflicts resolve, about what you deserve and expect from your interactions with others. Think about it this way. If you consistently, repeatedly revise a memory of being disrespected into one where you're treated with respect, and you respond with calm confidence, you're not just changing how you feel about that one past incident, you're gradually reshaping a deeper underlying assumption. I am someone who is treated with respect. I am someone who responds with calm confidence. And this underlying assumption, according to Neville's broader teaching, is exactly what shapes future experiences. Not through some magical rewriting of literal historical fact, but through genuinely shifting the internal blueprint your subconscious uses to interpret and generate future circumstances. I want to address the obvious skepticism this might raise, because it's a fair question. Doesn't this just mean you're avoiding dealing with real issues, papering over genuine problems with imagined, idealized alternatives? This is where nuance matters enormously. The law of reversibility isn't meant to replace genuine reflection, learning, or, when appropriate, actual real-world action to address real problems. If there's a legitimate conflict that needs direct communication, revision isn't a substitute for that conversation. What revision addresses is the ongoing, repeated, emotionally charged replaying of painful memories that serves no productive purpose beyond reinforcing pain and negative assumptions. It's specifically useful for memories you find yourself returning to unproductively. Replaying, not because you're gaining new insight, but because the emotional charge simply keeps pulling your attention back, again and again, without resolution. Let's talk about how to actually practice this effectively, because the specifics genuinely matter here. Neville suggested doing this practice at the end of each day, ideally right before sleep, when the conscious analytical mind is naturally more relaxed and the subconscious becomes more directly receptive to whatever impression you're deliberately creating. Reviewing your day, you identify moments that carried negative emotional charge, situations that left you feeling hurt, embarrassed, frustrated, disrespected, anxious. For each of these moments, instead of simply moving past them or trying to suppress them, you deliberately revisit them in imagination and consciously revise them into the version you wish had actually occurred. The specificity and sensory detail of this revision matters enormously for its effectiveness. A vague, generic revision, just imagining things went better, carries far less transformative power than a specific, detailed, emotionally convincing revision. If you're revising a difficult conversation, imagine the specific words you would have preferred to say, the specific tone of voice, the specific expression on the other person's face as they responded differently, the specific feeling of calm confidence in your own body throughout the interaction. The more real and convincing you can make this revised version feel, the more effectively it actually shifts the underlying emotional charge and assumption associated with that type of experience. I want to share something important about the emotional tone this practice requires. This isn't about forcing yourself into fake positivity or aggressively suppressing genuine, valid feelings about a difficult experience. If something genuinely hurt you, revision isn't about pretending it didn't hurt. It's about consciously choosing not to keep reinforcing that hurt through repeated, unproductive replaying, and instead directing that same imaginative energy toward a version that serves your ongoing well-being and future assumptions, rather than continuing to feed pain that serves no further purpose. Let's talk about why this practice specifically targets your future, not just your present emotional state, because this is really the heart of what makes the law of reversibility so significant within Neville's broader teaching. Your subconscious mind operates largely through pattern recognition and accumulated assumption. Every memory you carry, especially emotionally charged ones, contributes to an overall pattern your subconscious uses to predict and generate similar future experiences. If your memories are dominated by instances of being disrespected, dismissed, or hurt, your subconscious naturally continues generating circumstances that match this established pattern, not out of punishment, but simply because that's the blueprint it's being consistently given to work from. By deliberately revising these memories, you're not just making yourself feel better retroactively. You're actively updating the blueprint your subconscious continues to draw from when shaping your future circumstances and interactions. I want to walk through a slightly different type of example to show how broadly this principle can be applied. Imagine someone who experienced a significant professional setback, maybe being passed over for a promotion they felt they deserved. If they continue replaying this event with bitterness, focusing on the unfairness, the disappointment, the feeling of being undervalued, this emotional pattern doesn't just affect how they feel about that one specific incident. It can genuinely influence how they show up in future professional situations, carrying an underlying assumption of being undervalued or overlooked into every subsequent opportunity. Using revision, they might instead imagine the promotion conversation unfolding with genuine recognition of their contributions. Imagine receiving clear, affirming feedback about their value. Imagine feeling confident and respected throughout the interaction. Practiced consistently, this doesn't erase the literal historical fact of what happened, but it shifts the underlying assumption they carry forward, from "I am overlooked and undervalued" to "I am someone whose contributions are recognized and valued," which then genuinely influences how they show up, how they advocate for themselves, and what they come to expect in future professional situations. Let's address consistency, because like most of Neville's practices, a single revision session, while potentially helpful in the moment, tends to produce much more significant results through repeated, consistent practice over time. A memory that's been reinforced with a particular emotional charge for months or years typically requires more than one revision session to fully shift, especially if that memory connects to a broader, long-standing pattern rather than an isolated, one-time incident. This is why Neville suggested making revision a consistent nightly practice, reviewing the day's difficult moments and revising them before sleep, rather than treating it as an occasional technique used only after particularly significant events. I want to share a bit about why nighttime specifically matters for this practice. Throughout the day, your conscious, analytical mind is highly active, questioning, judging, comparing the revised version to what actually happened, which can interfere with the emotional conviction needed for revision to genuinely influence your subconscious. But as you approach sleep, this analytical resistance naturally softens, making your subconscious more directly receptive to whatever emotional impression you're deliberately creating. Whether that impression comes from anxious rumination about the day's difficulties, or from deliberate, conscious revision, toward a more empowering version of those same events. I also want to touch on something important regarding significant, deeply painful past experiences versus smaller, everyday frustrations. Revision can genuinely be applied to both, but significant, deeply rooted painful experiences may require more sustained, patient practice, and in some cases, this technique works best alongside, rather than as a complete replacement for, appropriate additional support like therapy or counseling, especially for experiences involving genuine trauma. Revision, in Neville's teaching, is a powerful tool for shifting the ongoing emotional charge and assumption connected to difficult memories, but it's most effectively applied as part of a broader, holistic approach to genuine healing and growth, rather than as an isolated technique meant to bypass deeper necessary processing. So how can you begin applying this practice tonight? Before sleep, take a few minutes to genuinely review your day, without judgment, simply noticing which moments carried negative emotional charge. Disappointment, frustration, hurt, embarrassment, anxiety. For each of these moments, instead of allowing your mind to replay them as they originally occurred, deliberately, consciously construct a revised version. One where the outcome unfolds the way you genuinely wish it had, with specific, sensory-rich detail and real emotional conviction. Allow yourself to genuinely feel this revised version, the calm confidence, the respect, the ease, whatever emotional quality reflects the outcome you actually wanted. And let this revised impression be the final emotional note you carry with you as you drift towards sleep, rather than the original unrevised version of events. I want to leave you with this final thought. So much of our ongoing suffering, and honestly, so much of what continues to shape our future circumstances, comes not from what actually happened to us, but from how we continue to hold, replay, and reinforce those experiences within our own consciousness, often completely unconsciously, without ever questioning whether we have any real choice in the matter. Neville's law of reversibility offers a genuinely different relationship to your own past, not through denial, not through forced positivity, but through deliberate, consistent, imaginative revision, gently shifting the emotional charge and underlying assumption you carry forward from difficult experiences into something that actually serves your ongoing growth and future, rather than continuing to reinforce pain that serves no further purpose. Try it tonight, with whatever difficult moment from today comes to mind, and see what begins to shift, not just in how you feel about yesterday, but in what naturally begins to unfold, moving forward into tomorrow.